And we're back right here with the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, John, Orlando, and I cover the state of pro wrestling, which includes our preview then, which we were mostly right on the Elimination Chamber, which just went down earlier today for the WWE. Here are our thoughts on that. Also, as well, the state of AEW and what's going on with them, and also with the violence that's happened recently in Mexico. How did that affect Lucha Libre and CMLL? Go ahead and hear our thoughts on that and more as we go on the road. We're vroom, 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 vroom. We're on the road to WrestleMania, everyone. Right there for you at the State of Pro Wrestling on the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. Also want to give a big shout out to what I do each and every time out on Lakers Corner, right there. Lakers Corner, I just dropped a 3-minute report for John Costa. Make sure you check out not only my 3-minute report for him for tonight's game, Instagram, and Twitter. Right there for you. Right there for you. Instagram and Twitter at Trip Show Shop. Right there. Of course, right there for you. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate you doing so. It is, of course, the Lakers heading into the Golden State Warriors, the Chase Center, San Francisco, the Bay Area, on Luka Doncic's 27th birthday. Yes, I think I'm okay. Yes, there we go. 27th birthday for Luka Doncic right there for you. And what would happen with Luka Doncic hitting his 27th birthday? Well, they celebrated it earlier, giving him a cake with half Slovenia, half Lakers. It looked all nice, and I'm sure hopefully the icing was cool, and hopefully the cake was a good part of it. But what would happen on Luka's 27th birthday? Oh, the smart aleckism begins with of course Joe Soro. He sits there and pops off in the chat as always. But with Luka and the Lakers coming in the midst of a terrible week, one of the worst weeks of the season for the Lakers, 3 miserable performances, the fingers being pointed out there, pointing at each other. Also as well, DeAndre Ayton claiming he does not want to be the next Clint Capella for this team, which got a clapback from Clint Capella himself. What would happen as the Lakers went into the Bay Area? Well, the Lakers from the start, they must celebrate birthdays more often because they gave Luka a great birthday gift today by being a collective team and absolutely killing it from the start. Absolutely getting a jump on the start. They took a early 10, 12 double-digit lead and absolutely just took off from there. The closest Golden State got in as far as once the lead got big was they had one run where they cut it down to 14, but the Lakers second half started to pull away once again. The Luka birthday machine started to take over early in that third quarter with a couple straight threes. really put the dagger on it, and the Lakers kicked it up to beyond 30 for the rest or most of the second half. And the Lakers finished off the Golden State Warriors with finally, an easy victory, 129-101. Absolutely a great performance today for the team as a whole. And we're back in the positives. We are plus 0.1 overall on the season. Hey, there you go. 35-24 on the season. We have now got at least some little breathing room away from the Phoenix Suns. We're now a game and a half in front of the Phoenix Suns, still a game and a half behind the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets, who lost recently, as we know, as far as that awful game last night that we saw them get into really a mix with OKC there. But yes, the Lakers do look like they're, at least for one night, they're competitive, and they took it out there, took all their frustrations out on the Golden State Warriors this evening. So you guys look happy, look like a very content crowd this evening. What's going on, Craig? Great to, yeah, JSJ, I agree with you. LA Knight will never win a world title if at this rate. They just don't believe in him. They just don't. The wrong people, or the right people, if you would like to say, do not believe in LA Knight. Joe, you are the last person to talk about Cousins, man, because some people have talked about you and inbreeding, but I'll just leave it from there. Isaac says, "Oh, big deal, we beat a G League." A win right now, Isaac, is a win when it concerns what the Lakers had to do. They needed to get off the schneid. We talked about this. We talked about how the Lakers needed to get off the schneid, and they did. And this was about as good a result as we could get. Everybody should be happy at this point for at least one night. At least can we all try to feel good about the Lakers' victory? Yes, does there always have to be some type of asterisk or whatnot? I understand that the Golden State Warriors did not have Kristaps Porzingis, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler. They did not have a full team, not even close at this point in time. But I am going to relish in the fact that it was a victory that the Lakers should have come in there. When you're that overmatched on talent, when you have a full roster going against someone who does not have a full roster, they should get the job done. This is the result we should have gotten in Phoenix and didn't get it. And finally, we did tonight. Again, an easy victory for the Lakers. Absolutely what the doctor ordered, 129-101. Absolutely cannot thank you enough for stopping by. Let's go ahead and hidden comments. Kennard was used right tonight. Yes, Kennard was used right tonight. Absolutely, Craig. 16 points for him, 4 of 7 from 3. The most important thing was the 7 3-point attempts, Craig. Absolutely. 16 points, obviously working well inside. They found him out on the perimeter. They made sure they ran plays for him. And the 46% shooting overall from 3, absolutely, that's what you want to get done. 19 of 41 overall for the Lakers. Very efficient from the outside. 53% overall. They got out on the break on quite a few occasions as well. The transition game worked. The 3-point shooting worked. Overall, absolutely a great performance for the Lakers. And I cannot say how happy I am for that, because you've guys gone through a miserable week. It's been a miserable week for the team, the infighting, the snarky comments and remarks, and the feedback that I've gotten from you guys over the course of the past few days. Just the mood and the tenor of the team and this fan base has been absolutely substandard. And it's been absolutely disappointing. And you guys have had a lot of disappointment because you guys are frustrated. The frustration levels, as Austin Reaves said, was very high coming off of that game in Phoenix. So at least this tempers a little bit, but we'll see if they can put together a back-to-back performance, because they've got a game tomorrow night against the Sacramento Queens coming up here in the tomorrow night at home at the Crypt. Can they start putting home games back to back with some victories? We'll have to find out. El Rosto says, El Rosto, by the way, the money has been transferred over to my good friend at Trip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. So I wanted to go ahead and go through that right there and mention that to you. We're working on something right now. We're cooking something up for our fan base as far as it's concerned. Yes, buyouts are over, Isaac, because today was the last day you could go ahead and do, you could have a buyout, and so you could go on another team for the playoff run. The most important one I think a lot of people working out was Chris Middleton, who's played very well for Dallas in recent weeks since his trade over to Dallas as far part of that Washington AD trade. He has declined moving, so he is going to stay in Dallas for the rest of the season. I think a lot of eyes were looking at that one. El Rosa says, so Porzingis was on the injury report again with that mystery. Yes, and I know that Steve Kerr tried to identify it with the, what is it called? POTS syndrome, POTS, I think for acronym for short. But they didn't want to really confirm or that was the issue right now at this time. JSJ says, did JJ coach like his job was on the line? I'll just say this, JSJ. There was actually, it seemed like everybody was more focused. I know there was a comment earlier in the chat that said the Lakers look like a more focused team right from the jump. They knew they had a talent advantage right off the get-go with no Stephen Curry, no Jimmy Butler, no Kristaps Porzingis. They finally realized what they needed to do out there, which they didn't do. This was the game they should have put together in Phoenix when you don't have Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker there, and they did not. And it was just a shame to see. There you go, right there from El Rosto. Thanks so much for the generous. Truly appreciate the super chat there. Lakers by 28. That helps the win-loss, absolutely. And also the point differential, which the Lakers are back in the positives right now. They're at a 0.1. Truly appreciate it. Carino, thank you so much again for joining us as well. Truly appreciate you joining us. The Lakers do win, get a comfortable victory. Just what the doctor ordered, just what the fan base ordered, 129 to 101. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts out there and looking forward to seeing if Joe will meander his way on here. Maybe Legend will as well. John Costa will not be here. I had to go ahead and record the 3-minute report for him because he's taking care of something else. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure he's got that covered. Anything is greatly appreciated. So thank you, El Rosto. Thank you for the $28 donation. Indeed, truly appreciate it. Of course, Xbox. Carino says you had okay, all right. Come on, guys. All right, here we go. Let's all be in a good mood because the Lakers did get the big victory today. Joe says someone needs to tell Charles Barkley to invest in new suits if he wants to look like Reggie Miller. Okay. We'll make sure that's passed along. They do read social media on that show, so let's make sure that gets passed along there. He was very sarcastic in his response at halftime. I guess the Lakers fan base was really on Charles Barkley for essentially telling what we've said for a while, that this team is not a title contender. I mean, if you guys think this team is still a title contender, even with a victory like today, more power to you. More power to you is all I'll say. But yes, he was very facetious in his response back to Lakers Nation, getting on his case after his comments the other day on that. Nick T says it's about time Luka attempts under 20 shots. Can you wish the guy at least a happy birthday? On his birthday, can you at least be, you know what? I guess that's for you. That's a positive Luka comment. I guess I'll leave it at that. That's a positive Luka comment there. Okay, I'll give you that. That's a birthday wish, I guess, from Luka from you as far as it's concerned. That's probably the nicest thing you could probably say about Luka, or you have said about Luka as far as it's concerned. So I'll give you that, Nick. I'll give you that, Nick. The experiment says Luka needs a team of snipers and Dobermans. Okay. Well, that is true. They do need a team of snipers and Dobermans. That would be nice if a team with better talent. How about that? That's a good start. That's a good start. Next, I think it's absolute. All right. Coming up right here. Come on, guys. Let's hear your thoughts in the chat. You guys seem to be in a good mood. For once, nobody's at each other's throat. Nobody's going after each other. Nobody's going after a certain player. even if it's DeAndre Ayton, even I think DeAndre Ayton gets a pass for today, or does he? We'll have to wait and see. I want to hear you guys' thoughts out there. Again, the easy victory for the Lakers, 129 and 101. DeAndre Ayton, 4 points, but 10 rebounds for him. Marcus Smart chipped in with 8. LeBron James, very efficient. Again, today you got an efficient, good LeBron James, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 turnovers, though, but still it didn't affect the outcome. Just a solid game from him today, which, again, is what you kind of need at this point in his career. 18 points from Austin, but 7 out of 11. So very efficient shooting for him, 2 of 4 from 3. Luka Doncic, 9 of 17. That's another efficient game for him. And obviously pleasing Nick T because he didn't take over 20 shots right there for you, along with 8 assists. Maxi Kleber had 4. Jared Vanderbilt with 2. Jake LaRavia, a solid performance from him. Not the free throw line per se, but 15 points overall, 3 of 6 from 3. And Luke Kennard, again, 16 points for him, 4 of 7 from 3. If those guys come off the bench and can give you 7 out of 13 from 3, that really helps out as far as the bench scoring, because the bench scoring, as we've noted several times, has been the worst in the NBA. And today, if you can get 16 and 15 from Kennard and LaRavia, that really helps out for this team immensely indeed. All right, what's going? But again, the Lakers do win 129 to 101. They are now still mired in sixth place, but now they get a little bit of more breathing room against the Phoenix Suns, 35 and 24 on the season. Again, they're finally in the positive category as far as differential is concerned. So there you go. As far as that is concerned, what you guys, Lakers don't have talented young players on the bench. No, I know that's been a call in recent days because a lot of people have talked about possibly just letting the Lakers fall into the play-in, letting the Lakers fall down further in the standings so that they can get a higher pick, putting the emphasis on the young guys. I'm not impressed with the young guys that they have. I'm not sure the Kobe Buffkins, the Bronny James, the Adu Thieros, the Nick Smith Juniors, these guys, I don't really know what kind of NBA future these guys have, because right now, Adu Thiero, if any of them, may have the most promise, but he doesn't stay on the floor long enough to find out exactly the kind of player he is. And with other second round and undrafted players in this draft that have excelled beyond what Adu Thiero has done, it does not bode well for him going forward. But we will have to wait and see. If there's anybody that should get more burn, I think it's Thiero. He's been playing extensively in the G League for the past week, along with Bronny James. So hopefully we can see more looks from Adu Thiero. But Kobe Buffkins, the Nick Smith Juniors, the Drew Timmies of the world, they're always going to probably be right where they're at. But the only one that might have some promise is Adu Thiero. But again, we'd have to see how it looks on an NBA floor. If that's concerned. Isaac says everyone tears it up in the G League. Not everyone, but I get what you're saying. A lot of players like Kobe Buffkin. Why did the Lakers sign him? Because he was tearing it up in the G League. So I get your point from there. But seeing the bigger picture, you can understand why Atlanta let him go, as far as not having enough confidence in him and his abilities as a first round draft pick himself. So I can understand why. The more I see of him, the more I can understand why Atlanta chose the way they chose. And Nick Smith Jr., again, can get out for a burst of offense here and there, but putting the continuous type of minutes is just very, very frustrating to see that he's just not able to put it together, wasn't able to in Charlotte when he had his opportunity as well. El Rosto says Kennard has an awesome defense, a sequence in the first half. Dude single-handedly kept 3 players from scoring on one possession. So finally, yes, I know he's not noted for his defense, but he should get lauded for that defensive sequence alone. But I know that a lot of people have pointed out that his defense at times it's not been that good. And we saw glimpses of that today, but that one sequence, like you said, Al Rosto, he should get plenty of praise for. And when the game works like that for the Lakers, when they're focused in, when things are rolling for the Lakers, things like that will happen. Isaac says LeBron will sit out tomorrow. Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if that's announced. If that's announced, we'll have to wait and see. It is against the Sacramento Queens, so we'll see how that works out for the team. They are playing on a back-to-back. We'll see how it looks for them. I don't see any official LeBron sitting out as of yet, but I imagine something will be sore tomorrow morning, as it was his previous week with his knee. So we'll see. Vern says Kennard needs more minutes. He needs more looks. I think Vern, the minutes are fine, 15 to 25. It's the looks that he needs to go ahead and get. If he's getting 7 to 10 looks from three, that's what you want. If he's not, and he's getting 1 or 2 looks from three, his impact is not as big and it's not as good on the game, because then you start focusing on some other things that he is not able to do as well. But Kennard needs touches from beyond the paint, from beyond the arc. And I think that's something that they have to focus on. And today was a great example of when you utilize him in the offense like that, what he can do for you as a shooter and as someone, as Joe said earlier, as a sniper indeed. Isaac says, I like RJ as a Tar Heel fan, but he'll never see the main floor. RJ Davis, you're talking about, who has played well, like you said, Isaac, in the G League, but unfortunately, his size, I think, works against him, and it will be something we'll have to wait and see. But we thought that was the case with Scott, or at least I thought that was the case with Scottie Pippen Jr., and he is still done very well. He has improved his game dramatically at an NBA level, SPJ has, and he is now a legitimate NBA player. And I'm happy for him that he's able to achieve that success. Carino says, do we expect Kennard's 3-point percentage to drop as he plays more minutes? If so, how much of a drop do we expect in his 3-point percentage? He has a small sample size. Well, Carino, I said here when he was traded here, I'm not asking for 50%. I think it's really hard to ask someone even as great a sniper or great a shooter as he is for 50%. I'm asking for his career average, which is 45%. If he shoots 45%, that I think is the best anyone can ask. Because Joe has talked about it before, about the lights being bright in LA and most shooters regressing. Like, we've had several shooters that have come by that have not been able to shoot at the same level that they have in other places. And when you're able to go ahead and shoot like Kennard does, if he can shoot his average 45%, I will be happy with that. And look who's here. Indeed, you got to go check him out today at the Joe Soro Experiment and his company, Simblades, Simblade with a Y.com. It is Joe Soro. Joe, Luka got to celebrate his birthday today. He is now 27 years strong. Celebrated with a outstanding third start to the third quarter with back-to-back threes that seemed to break the back of the Golden State Warriors at that point in time, on the way to a 129-101 victory. I don't want to put much into it, but this was the game that they should have had Phoenix, the depleted Phoenix team, on Thursday night.
I don't really know how to judge tonight's game, other than you're supposed to beat teams that are not good by 30 or 28. Mm-hmm. So that's where the fine line is nice and balanced at that point. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm kind of curious to see if everybody's going to play tomorrow. That would tell me a lot, but I don't know. NBA basketball has become a lackluster product where there's more news about guys not playing than actually playing. That's pretty sad commentary.
It's not true. It's not untrue, right? That's what we've expected. Although past couple times LeBron has surprised us by playing the back-to-back, but they are playing the Queens tomorrow. And if I don't want to say it's a guaranteed victory, Joe, for a team that's been tanking quite a bit this season, but would you give any of the guys a day off?
I wouldn't give any of these guys a day off for the next 3 years, considering they've been taking days off more than shit. Who was an injury-prone player 10 years ago that was popular? Trying to think. Oh wait, we didn't have anybody like that. We could just say Joel Embiid of today's era, right?
Yes, and
Didn't
who is out,
Joel
by the way,
Embiid?
again with an oblique injury.
Yeah. Oh, so between him and Rui, they have a lot of, stomach problems apparently, or whatever it is that they have, and I don't have any. I don't think I have any respect for them. Grant Hill's a good one, but the thing is, Grant Hill legitimately had a destroyed ankle. I'm not going to dog on people that I guess didn't make it. Like Ralph Sampson and Grant Hill are the two names that I remember in terms of the last 40 years where they were immense talents that weren't able to finish their careers healthy. Ben Simmons is a quitter more so than a guy that doesn't play. His brain quit more than his body. So I don't know if I want to put him in the Grant Hill category. I think that's an insult to Grant Hill and Ralph Sampson. Yeah, Charles Barkley really needs to tailor his suits. He looks just, I don't know who. Shaq's the only one that seems to dress like a normal guy these days. I don't know what the hell Ernie's wearing. What the fuck is that outfit? I don't even know what the hell that is. He's wearing a billiards colored jacket with shit pants. Anyways, Penny is another good one. Yes, thank you. The soft is not going to get the softness is not going to get better, folks. Society won't allow it. We're going to continue to get softer and softer until idiocracy sets in, which is likely coming. Which is close, by the way.
Okay. All right. But again, easy victory for the Lakers, 129-101. They're finally, Joe, back into the positive category on positive differential. And, I'm not going to make too much out of today's victory. It was against depleted Golden State Warriors team. This is the game that they should have put together on Thursday as well. And they should have an easy time of it on Sunday against the Sacramento Queens. But this team, I see them. You have this team, you have this as far as Oklahoma City and San Antonio at the top of the West. And then you have this Rockets, Nuggets, Timberwolves love fest at 37 wins. And I see the Lakers in this kind of island all by themselves, the island of misfit toys, per se. It just seems like the Lakers are on a steady ride to nowhere. They can't tank and they can't get themselves much lower than they are now, but the I guess what I'm trying to say is the ladder of going up through Minnesota, Denver, and Houston at this point in the season looks very difficult to go ahead and climb.
I don't really know. I don't really know what the end game is going to be. I do think the reason why I do feel positive is that the leadership, the new owners have proven that they've exceeded and they've created a distance from the second team in their league, and it might as well be mid-tier in my view. You look at baseball, right? And it's the irony is it doesn't get unnoticed here in that the term ruining baseball for a franchise that has done everything right. Yet there's a public, the loser public, that has created a negativity around it. So what that proves is it doesn't matter if you're successful or you're a loser, you're always going to have losers complaining about something. So you might as well win. And that's kind of where my brain is on in all this. All I ask as a fan is to be entertained by the product, because you're getting paid 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars to do that. And when you don't, when you're taking breaks because you have acid reflux in your stomach, for all I know. I don't know what it is. I don't know how these guys are always sick every 5 fucking minutes, but there's not a lot of respect for your profession. You're weak. You're pretty weak. So I'm not putting too much stock in this season anyways. I really didn't, even from the beginning. The real stock's going to be building after the end of the year. There's going to be drama at the end of the year that the NBA is going to soak up because their league is boring as hell, and whoever ends up winning the championship is going to be a snooze fest again this year. So the big story is going to be when LeBron doesn't come back to LA, when Clutch Sports becomes a shit stain on some tidy whities at some point, especially when LeBron likely will play at least one more year and that's it. And I don't know where this narrative of LeBron is going to own a Las Vegas team comes from. It's comedy, folks. LeBron James couldn't buy a sports team, even if he could bring in the money and become no one's going to give him $3-4 billion to buy a sports franchise. I'm sorry, no one's going to do that. So he doesn't have money to back it up. So whatever he ends up doing, I think, it's his business, whatever. But in the end, there's going to be a process here where the current leadership is going to build a perennial title contender around Luka, and we'll see probably within the next year or two where that'll be.
Once again, it is Joe Soro along with me, Jared Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening to this, the Lakers Fast Break. Hopefully you are having a great Lakers weekend out there. Lakers do win 129-101. Lakers shoot, Joe, a season high for them, tied a season high, 19 threes. And the best part about it is they did it from the start. They were hot from the very start, and until the third quarter, when actually Luka took over. And that put the dagger on this whole game, was when he took over in that third quarter, because he let his teammates really work up that lead. And obviously he was very buoyed by that, coming on his 27th birthday. So he is now 27 years old, Joe, in his prime. This is his prime right now. What needs to happen now that he's getting a little bit older and a little bit older? Because that clock is ticking, Joe. His prime is now, and it's up to the Lakers to try to build a team going forward from whether you like Luka or you don't like Luka. And Nick T and everybody out there, and all the Luka detractors, which, again, whether you don't like his game or do like his game, he is the future for this team. Whether we like it, you like it, or anybody else likes it or not, he is the future for this team. But the clock is ticking, Joe. He is now squarely in his prime, and it's up to whoever's in charge of the front office to get things done to build a team around him.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Art Carino, I've got Lakers tattooed. It doesn't matter if they could put a team down the street and it wouldn't matter to me. I am Lakers purple and gold, born in Inglewood, and always a guy from purple and gold.
Hey,
Lakers
left on base. I want you to explain this to me real quick. How did you even fathom comparing cancer to an oblique injury or a stomach bug in that question? How did that even come into your brain? There are two reasons that happened. Either you're fucking with me, which is fine, or you're dumb. Like, not dumb like when somebody accidentally turns left and runs over a curb. I'm talking about like retardum dumb, where you're born with it. I went from a stomach bug to an oblique injury to the weakest fucking generation in human history, to you talking about getting cancer is weak. Where the fuck did that come from? I'm curious now. Seriously, that might be the dumbest post. And I mean, we've seen some fucking bad ones. That might be the dumbest fucking post I think I've ever read on the show. How the fuck did you go from stomach bug to cancer?
Maybe, I mean, I'm hoping that's not the case for Porzingis, because Porzingis, it has been a mystery illness for quite some time. I know that the POTS diagnosis that Kerr talked about and kind of blurted out there a little bit presumptuously, that he kind of walked back on. But again, they have not been able to put a hand down on it. So yeah, it's just very curious
Does
to see.
Porzingis have cancer and we don't know?
I mean, it could be anything at this point is possibility, but should have been easy enough to detect, Joe. It's now been closing in on a year for this mysterious illness, and it
Porzingis has been injured since he came out of the womb, and I've never heard the word cancer in that area, so I don't even know what that means.
Topic did have cancer. Topic did have testicular cancer and had to have a surgery. They found that, I guess he had a groin injury or something, and then they discovered the testicular cancer. He did have an immediate operation. He is now months later back on the floor for OKC. That is scary, everyone. That is absolutely
hence
scary.
why we never discouraged him in being hurt, because he had cancer. I think that would be a pretty, pardon the pun, a dick move on our part to criticize a man who's got cancer while he's out not playing basketball. I thought common sense would tell the world that's probably not the right way to go. But when it comes to someone like a Ben Simmons who wants to play video games instead of play basketball and can't dunk a ball from literally 3 inches away from the basket at 6'10", and then you got someone like Joel Embiid who can't move 4 feet without getting hurt, or Rui can't go a week without getting a fucking cold. Like, how are you even equating any of that with cancer? That right there is as dumb and low as a human being can be without being a complete and utter fucking idiot. There's not enough people calling people what they are. It is such a stupid comment that I want this thing ingrained in everyone's skull right now at how stupid some of you people are. Almost a lot of you are out there. Seriously, like, it's beyond comprehension how fucking stupid people are. And this is why I work alone. This is why I'm volatile. This is why I sound angry all the time, because I have to navigate through life, protect a family, protect my friends, protect my business, so that fuckers like you don't bother them, because they don't have the energy. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the engine. They don't have the fuel to do it. I do. That's what I was born with. It doesn't bother me, like in a sense of where I'm sitting in a corner crying about it, but this is the life that I live.
Before you were even here, before we even started the show, left us. Will Joe grace us with his presence tonight? He's always asking that. Not sure. Not sure he should have been asking for it tonight.
That. I mean, you could screenshot that comment. That, without a shadow of a doubt, is the dumbest post in the 4+ years I've been on this show. Beyond. I mean, beyond. I think even it's a distant from the second one, probably.
Well, fair enough. No, it's not blushing, Archer. It's because I saw this happening, and this came from an individual who is really looking forward and looks forward to Joe being on this show. I'm not sure it was to be called out by Joe, but hey, you put those comments out there, and he's gonna. If Joe sees it, he's gonna zero in on him. So, yeah, you were warned. You were warned. I will just say that indeed. But once again, the Lakers do win 129 to
El
101.
Rosto is confused. That's like saying water is wet. So please, El Rosto, scroll up and you'll read everything.
I'm gonna
And
see if I can find it.
next time, add another 0 on that 28. Come on, you've been here long enough. You can do it.
Was it this one right here? Left said the ox, so a person that gets cancer is weak then, per your definition. Is
Actually, Ruben, both Shaq and Michael won it at 28.
But I think this was the comment that you were talking about. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the comment I was responding to. Yes. That's the comment that will forever be number one. I don't think there'll be a worse one than that, because anything derogatory would be something of kind of a response to how I am, or somebody trolling, which doesn't really count.
Fair enough, indeed. But as you can see from our show, Joe, people love it when the Lakers lose and they hop on over here. We had one of our biggest counts so far of the new year, as opposed to here when the Lakers win comfortably. It's our regular crew that's a part of us and is greatly appreciated. But if you can, please elaborate what worked so well in your eyes tonight. I understand it was an undermanned team. I get that. I understand it. But we saw an undermanned team in Phoenix. What worked so well tonight that didn't work in Phoenix?
I don't know if I could compare the two.
How so? I mean,
because I think Phoenix has a different. I think Phoenix has a better team than Golden State. I think they care more. I think
Golden State, Jordan Ott right there. Jordan Ott just helped.
Yeah, it's just there's something going on in Phoenix, and it's not tied to Steve Kerr not being able to do things, and you're not hearing about the Kuminga type stuff over. Like, everybody knows their role in Phoenix. Everyone, and this is all year, by the way. I'm not talking about this moment, because I'm sure that Golden State winning their last game, but then the team they played was depleted that night either. So you don't really know. There's nothing to analyze anymore in the NBA, because no one fucking plays anymore. How am I supposed to gauge this? Okay, the Lakers had a healthy team play tonight other than Rui, and they won. Okay, well, how are we going to know how good they are if Jimmy Butler and Steph are not playing? And Kuminga's not there anymore. I don't know how you can't assess anything other than by the minute. It's got to be by the minute. There was one thing that I wish they had done tonight. If I had to pick one thing, is I wish they would have practiced playing better defense against this team to get themselves some fundamental memory way of playing defense.
Work on communication. I think they should have
held. They should have held this team to below 100 points, maybe even below 90. But they're lazy. Just look at some of the plays that they allowed Golden State to shoot and get to the basket. How many times did Gary Payton in the first quarter, or was the second quarter, how many times did they let him get a layup under the basket over and over again? Gary Payton can barely jump and shoot a ball, let alone have 3 layups at the basket.
That didn't used to be the case.
It's just they're lazy. Mm-hmm. They're lazy. They're a lazy mental team. They're mentally lazy. And it's not just them, it's everyone. Everyone just sucks at focusing on shit. And Phoenix is young and kind of naive, and that a lot of those guys are trying to make their way up. And then what will happen is a couple of those guys will cross the threshold. They'll get their first $80 million contract and watch. They'll be doing the same thing. They'll only play 60 games a year. And they'll lose their juice, and then that'll be it. None of these guys aren't gonna last. It's not a fun sport. It's a lazy, entitled sport, and the league, the coaches, the owners don't give a shit because they pulled that $76 billion TV deal. No one gives a shit, right?
Yep.
We're still watching. Doesn't matter. Although, Gerald, I'm getting close to cutting out my DirecTV.
I can't say I blame you. Robert Wheeler has a question. Good to have you back, Robert. He says, what do you think the floor and ceiling is for the Lakers in terms of where they will end up seeding-wise, Joe?
The ceiling is second round. The floor is first round exit.
I think that's correct. I think seeding-wise, he said, I think seeding-wise, the ceiling is fifth, and the floor is seventh right now.
Hey, don't use any fancy words there, El Rosto.
So what do you think the seeding will be?
By the way, I don't make a dime. I don't make a dime on this show. I am a volunteer, just so you all know.
Yes. Get him to where you can with the Joe Soro experiment with 1,000 watch hour, 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers.
I'm already rich, so it doesn't bother me. I'm just saying I don't make any scratch on this.
Well, there's not a whole lot of scratch to be found if you saw my tax returns. I'll just put it tell you quite honestly, not a whole lot of scratch. That $28 that El Roaster was kind enough to send over. It's a big chunk. That's all I'll tell you. You guys, you looked at my tax returns and you would say, that's it? You can't live off that.
Hey, at least you got it to a point where you actually have to file taxes. That's pretty good.
Barely. Let's just put that barely. When you're looking up at the poverty level and it's like way up there to just even reach the average poverty level, as far as whatever the median average is for the poverty level here, America, and all that, you can tell, yes, I am a very, very small YouTuber indeed. Again, you have to generate videos that have at least 20 to 25,000 views per video in order to go ahead and earn a living on this. Anybody who's doing less and is saying that otherwise is telling you a lie. It's just that simple. It's not even close. T3 and D, but to answer your question before I get to T3 and D, fifth place is the ceiling, seventh place is the floor. Second round, it's the ceiling. First round is where they're going to go. So, Joe, do you see them getting do you see them getting anywhere higher up on the food chain before the end of the season?
If they are, they better win the next 7 out of 8 games at home.
Which has been a problem because they're a better road team than.
Yeah, because they're lazy. They only play when they want to play, and when they want to play, they still don't beat the teams that matter. They haven't done it all year. El Rosto, please don't kiss my ass. I hate that shit. Just be you. I don't need compliments from people. I don't care.
T3, yes, I saw the highlights of James Wiseman at the FIBA championship, but remember, this is James Wiseman. Let's not put too much in that. Again, the same thing is when people talk about Isaac Bonga because he had EuroLeague MVP for this season in EuroLeague. Let's understand why they're there in the first place. Is because they couldn't keep a regular gig in the big league in the NBA. So when these guys are flourishing overseas. Like Pablo Torre finds out with Antonio Blakeney. Why was he leading the league in Chinese basketball? Because he can't get more than a cup of coffee in the NBA. It's just that simple. Understand, the numbers as where they're at as far as the G League, as far as Euro League, Chinese League, whatever league outside the NBA. It's the NBA, Joe, as you've seen, is a different beast. If you cannot excel in the NBA, it is very hard to stay even at a competitive level. These guys that are like at the end of the Lakers roster, they will be doing that for the foreseeable future because it is just so hard to stay one of the best 420 players in the league.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes if the level between the NBA
450.
player.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I question sometimes on the possibility is the NBA drop to the next league or division greater than any, like in terms of space, in terms of quality, than in any sport, like football in college tour versus the NFL, or maybe football versus NFL football versus, let's say, CFL. I think it's that's a pretty big gap in a lot of cases, but certain positions you can sort of make it work. Baseball, because there's such a huge minor league contingency there. I don't know there either, but I feel like because the NBA, you have to be more often than not a tall player, someone who can leap, and you see so many guys that just suck ass in the NBA and then become stars in Europe. So I don't know. I don't know how to. I'd have to assess that. It's be a good kind of assignment to look into and be able to explain. But
Drip Show says your T-shirt is in the mail.
Thanks, Chris. I'm coming next weekend. I could have saved you some shipping costs, but I got you on at least the first 4 rounds of drinks.
By the way, Gregory, you're not the first to say that. That is very astute, though, by you that make that observation. Joe, we talked about Tony Bennett on with the former head coach of Virginia being named an advisor as far as to Rob in a draft role. Is there more to it than that, Joe? Is there a possibility of a coaching job in his future at the NBA level, a Laker level?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about Tony Bennett except the basics. If they had hired Jay Wright, I would be pretty giddy.
Arcarino,
yeah, I'd be pretty giddy. But Tony Bennett might be in that area too, since I've been kind of doing some looking into in terms of what he does. Apparently, he was hired so that he can assist, and I have both bunny ears flying right now for the audio listeners. He's there to assist I'm sorry, Rob Pelinka.
Rob Pelinka on the draft. Yes. Again, that walk from the office to the car has gotten a little bit more comfortable for Rob.
I think Tony Bennett will do fine. I think there's a reason why they got him. I think they've done their research enough to figure out that this guy could be an asset. I'm waiting on news when Rob Pelinka decides to resign. That's actually what I'm waiting on right now. And I'm waiting on it because if Tony Bennett comes in and basically starts telling Rob, this is how you need to do this, and Rob starts to get tired of it, that might be the That might be the break. And maybe that's why they brought him in. I don't know. Just taking a wild guess on that.
Once again, the Lakers do win 129-101. The Lakers are now 11 games back, above 500. They're now have a positive point differential. Before I get to Legend, I wanted to go ahead and answer Arcarino's question, because you said last time that the upcoming free agent class is not great. Unless some restricted free agents become unrestricted free agents, i.e., for instance, Jalen Duren or Walker Kessler become unrestricted free agents, which I don't think will happen. I think both Utah and Detroit are going to sign both those players. It will probably be a underwhelming free agent class for the most part. When it comes to foreign players, if they are on a contract with another team, Carino, they have to go ahead and buy out they have to work a buyout for those teams if they're overseas and they have a contract there. It's usually the player has to work a buyout of some kind, whether it's negotiated with a team in the NBA that they already have a direction to, or if they just want to get back into the league and make themselves available, if they're tied to a contract with a foreign team, they have to go ahead and negotiate a buyout with those teams. And it's not always approved. Isaac Bonga was a perfect example that his team did not want to release him from his contract, while other players were able to go ahead and get released from theirs and be able to be eligible to get back into the league. Cameron Payne, for starters, to the NBA. So again, it's dependent on the deal that they have. But yes, if they are going to be a free agent from their European teams, then obviously in June they could be looked at as far as joining the league. And there is occasionally one or two, like a Gerson Yabusele, after his great performance in the Olympics. He was added on to Philadelphia. He was brought over from Europe to be part of the Philadelphia 76ers, and he's had his NBA career from there. But good question, Carino. And again, it's something, again, what is the contract for that specific player? Is it something they can get out of, is the question for those guys that potentially, you could take a look at, especially for young kids that are eligible for the draft. Are those players in European leagues that are 17, 18, 19 years old, are they eligible to get out of their contracts right away and be able to be eligible for the NBA draft as well?
Get ready, by the way, folks, when the Lakers reinvent. You guys okay? You guys can still hear me, right? Did Gerald freeze? Gerald looks frozen on my feed.
Yeah, he's frozen on my side too.
Let him come back, and then I'll answer the question. Tony Bennett is dead. Let him. I was waiting for that comment, Mark. So here's a few of the questions that we've been asked. Okay, here, let me get to this part first. The Lakers are going to reinvent. Maybe not reinvent. That's not the right word. They're going to better talent acquisition. Right word. They're going to better. Oh, I can hear myself. Yes. That's great.
You're now good. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Lakers, watch. I want you guys to pay attention to this in the next few years. Lakers are going to master the ability to bring in talent, whether it's through international waters, areas, locally, doesn't matter. They're going to start stacking good players. Let's say similar to what you see at Oklahoma City, right? And Sam Presti is the Andrew Friedman of the NBA. I'd say if I had to compare, I know a lot of you guys don't know the certain guys in MLB, but Brad Stevens is like Dave Dombrowski. just so happened to have been a Boston GM as well. So the Lakers are going to have, in my view, a choice to go after some really good player personnel / general managers that know how to draft, that know how to put a team together. It's impossible that they're not going to get exactly who they want. It just doesn't make any sense to have $10 billion allocated to a sports franchise and not have that ability to convince somebody to come work for them and make them better. I just don't see it. It's just not. And to me, that's like, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, are those guys not going to be the best at some point? They all became the best. So they were too great not to. So it's going to take a minute to build this up because they got to kind of get rid of stuff. And then on top of that, they got to develop the process. And then they got to start bringing in talent, which they're going to have a lot of flexibility to do here in a few months when the season's over.
Sam Presti is not going anywhere. I think I think they'll offer him a piece of ownership first before he has been there way too long. He's not going anywhere.
That's kind of hard.
If you really want the OKC way of building, then you go after his lieutenants and see if you can go from there. But the Lakers don't usually like to go after somebody that may have the potential. They like to go after someone that has a name already. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if that happens. But also here today, good man indeed. It is, of course, the man behind I Got Next Sports Media. It is Legend. Great to have you here. Your Golden State Warriors pummeled tonight on national television by a team that has absolutely had their toughest week of the season. A depleted team right now with Golden State, but the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors have something in common because I think they're both right now for this season look like they're on the fast track to nowhere.
Yeah, I think both teams are probably thinking similar on let's just get this season over with and move on to 26 and 27 season. I think we both probably get to the point where we're all checked out and kind of just over it. They got their butts whooped. Thank God I didn't watch the game. I was watching high school basketball state playoffs tonight. But yeah, I kind of expected that to happen. They're very depleted, pretty much middling out, and I wouldn't even bring stuff back at this point. I'll just sit them out. It's ain't no point. Just going to let the season out.
And the signing of Guy Santos. Is Guy Santos, given a 3-year contract the other day, which is it's a great story. And I congratulations to him. But when you keep signing these guys to these contracts, are you signing them because you want them to be a part of your foundation going forward, or are you just signing them to use as filler in trades for the future?
I get the feeling because I know they really want to go all in for stuff. They're probably signing them just to use them for potential trades. But if I was them, just looking at how things are playing out, gotta be realistic with yourself and wonder what is your chance to really build out another championship team. It's kind of iffy. It's kind of iffy to pull that out, but it looks like they're going to sign a lot of these guys to try to make some type of move to give Steph one last hurrah, one last chance at number 5. But, I'll probably start planning for the future at this point. Just go and start planning. I would be very shocked if they can put another championship team together, but I highly doubt it.
So where does that leave your team? And especially with the mysterious illness that Kristaps Porzingis, again, he'll be a free agent, so it won't really matter. It seems like they just got him on a look-see, and it looks right now that he's probably not going to be staying with this team. Where does that leave you guys going forward as far as being able to build a team? At least you'll have the first-round draft picks to utilize in a quick fix if you decide to look at that for the summer.
I think that's probably will be the best, probably their approach. If they're going to probably look for some quick fixes using what you got available with the assets that you have and see what you can put together going for next season. You already know Jimmy will not be there at the beginning of next season and probably won't be back to maybe towards the end of next season, but they're going to probably try to use it as some quick fixes and see what you can do from that point on. I really wouldn't be surprised if Draymond on the trade block. I just wouldn't be surprised at that either. I think a lot of people are going to be available.
Is he an expiring next year?
I got to take a look to see if he's expiring.
I
I
don't
forgot
think
what his
he
contract
is.
was.
But I don't think he's, as Joe would say, he's not very well. Joe would say it in a little different fashion, but he's not very attractive as a player you'd want to go ahead and get for another team right now, Legend.
Yeah, I kind of in the camp of I think he just been the best when he was Steph and Clay. In the Golden State Warriors system, he looks great. I don't know about anyone else. I mean, he can always prove me wrong, but I did get the feeling they're gonna put him on the shipping block.
Well, again, he has an option. He has a player option for $27 million, which he will collect. Nobody is giving him that kind of deal going forward at 36 years of age, Joe. So with that, and he's no longer the dirtiest player in the NBA. So he's lost that reputation because Lou Dort Lou Dort has overtaken him by leaps and gut punches abound. So with that, Joe, where does Draymond Green stand? Again, a guy who looks like he's closing down the last chapter of a storied career.
Hopefully standing away from my eyesight.
Again, $26 million. He can't pick that up, and he most likely will. I don't think he will be able to get to write it out because if Curry has plans to stay 3 or 5 years, you can't play. You can't keep him there.
All it took was one Kevin McHale clothesline, and you would have been able to shut his ass up years ago because you would have embarrassed him. It's like a musician who gets dissed. Once that happens, it seems like they can never. More often than not, they can't come back and be who they were. But no one did because they don't want to get suspended and they don't want to lose money. I get it, but Draymond needed to get his ass whooped. He needed to get his ass whooped, just like Dennis Rodman needed to get his ass whooped in the 90s. I stood on that even back then when I didn't have the lethal testosterone versus just testosterone in the 90s. I don't like fake tough guys. And I don't like guys kicking people in the nuts because they feel like they can just do whatever the fuck they want there. You want to be a tough guy. I don't mind Brooks's way of doing it. Brooks is just, he don't like you. I don't get bothered by Brooks. Brooks just doesn't like people. And I can relate to that 100%. But when you start kicking people in the nuts and you start grabbing them when you're on the ground and you're elbowing them and you're picking on the guys that aren't going to fight back, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. He needed to get his ass whooped. So unfortunately, he never did.
That thing, though, still works. If you saw last night with the Denver game, Lou Dort hit. Actually, he took a low shot. He tripped. Of course, Jokic. They got in a scuffle. They got in a heated argument, and I think Doncic was thrown out. This is with a very close game, and then it was decided for OKC in overtime. So again, as much as we don't like these tactics, sometimes they work, Joe.
Yeah, they work.
Because Jokic got suckered into it, and it cost them the game in Denver for Denver.
I mean, I'm not saying you gotta mentally check yourself out the game. You got to be smart too. Like do it in. You got to create the right time to do it. But it's hard. It's hard because these guys can't look at anybody without getting suspended now. You just can't do it. It's difficult. But
I had never seen Jokic like that.
You,
I have never seen him that mad as I saw
I
him.
would just send his brother at him. Honestly, his brother would tear him into two. I don't know if you guys have seen Jokic's brother.
Yes.
He's twice as wide as Jokic, and by the way, Jokic is 7 feet, like 380. So that's when you use your bro and you say, "Hey, listen, man, I don't want to get fined. Jokic makes $50 million a year. I don't want to lose $10 million of it. I'll just go send my brother at you. He'll wait for you after the game. Go ahead and try talking shit to him." Hey, Danny, how you doing, bud?
Legend, I want to bring it back to you. A question from Arcarino. What characteristics other than height do basketball scouts look in college high school players? What do you think they look for? I've talked at length with scouts, Rafael Barlow, who now works for the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, Stone Hansen was on here quite a bit. I've had Michael Weisenberg. I've had other scouts that have previewed these guys. They go ahead and they study all the different analytics from height, reach, what as far as their weight, strength, as far as what they can rep, their speed, jumping ability, their vertical is obviously what they look at as well, but also on the court, what does their trajectory? If they're a good free throw shooter in college, they think they can translate that into being a good distance shooter in the NBA. What other metrics do you think they use with scouts who look at college basketball and high school players when just before they're entering or possibly entering the NBA?
Hey, what's good, Danny? And what I would say a lot of scouts look for is they look for how you think on the court, look to see how smart you are when you play on the court, especially if you're a point guard, you running the show. They're looking exactly how well do you think of going against the defense and all. And they also look at how well you're shooting, how well can you dribble, how well can you handle the full court pressure, how well can you handle zone defense, man-to-man defense, how well can you handle playing defense on the other end of the court? Can you guard your man? Can you hold your man, shut him down when it's time to shut him down? Like, there's a lot of different things that a lot of scouts look for. It does come down to what position you play the most. I know, like, when I'm sometimes helping out our high school basketball team and we have people looking at our players, a lot of our players ain't that tall, so a lot of scouts look for speed, 3-point shooting, mid-range shooting, ball handling, ability to be creative around the basket. That way they look for it in a lot of our guys. So it does come down to your position-wise. Your position, your height, it really kind of determines a lot of the things that they're going to be looking for. It goes to the next level. And free throw shooting, to me, is one of the biggest things they're looking for. Can you shoot a higher percentage from the free throw line? Because it's free. There's nobody in front of you. You should really be able to make that most of the time. I think I was like maybe 89, 90% free throw shooter when I was playing ball in high school. That's what you should be.
Joe, this is the optimistic Robert Wheeler question of the day. And, his optimism, I do admire, even though it's not realistic. He said, Joe, Lakers have the 8th best offense in the NBA. Why do you think LA has no chance to win the title this year? Outside of OKC, the Spurs too young, Houston too KD centered, Denver still missing Gordon. I said in one word, talent. Your thoughts, Joe? Why do you not think LA has a chance to win the title this year?
Because their defense is 24th.
There you go. That's the easy defense.
And the Lakers have been notorious this season in making good players look like stars. They don't stop anyone. Even tonight, they allowed, like, this tonight would have been a good night to use. Tonight would have been a great night to get yourself in the habit of playing good defense against players that aren't as talented as some of the teams you've played, and just get yourself in some kind of a rhythm with it. Instead, they were just as lazy tonight. I mean, I think Golden State started out 2 for 13.
Yes.
Right? So,
jeez.
They still scored 100 points. Golden State had no business scoring 100 points tonight. They had no one. The Lakers are a lazy, physical, mental. It's just who they are. They're weak. They're just weak, and it's not just them. I'm talking about them now because that's who we're talking about. That's what the show is revolves around. It's not just them, but the description is accurate in that they're not very they don't have any pride. And if you think they're going to turn it on after game 82, no, I mean it would just don't see it. These aren't the kind of players that do that kind of stuff. Maybe Luka to some degree, but the second things go downhill, guys, that little bit of spurt that we've seen in the end of fourth quarters the last few years, they crumble like stale cookies, man. And that's who they are. They're just weak. They're weak mentally, they're weak physically. You could tell they're weak physically because every other day all we hear is somebody not being there. And then they'll voluntarily, with no room to do this stuff. Like, they have no room to take games off. They're not the 0-1 Lakers. They're not the 14 Spurs. They're not the 17 Warriors. So imagine a guy who hasn't done shit in his life who demands things. What would that make you feel like? Imagine a guy at work. Let's equate it to something that I think everyone in this chat would relate to. Let's say you're at work and you have a guy at work who doesn't do shit at work but wants a raise. What would you think about that guy? Exactly. That's who the Lakers are. So we've seen greatness, we've seen good teams, we've seen competitive teams, we've seen it all as Laker fans. I don't think there's anything we haven't seen. So it's very easy to identify what we're watching. It's just not a negative thing, by the way, guys. Just because they won tonight, I know we're supposed to probably be. Of course, I'm happy they won, but I'm happy they won tonight. It doesn't mean anything for tomorrow. Like tomorrow, if half these guys don't show up, what is the point?
Well, we will find out because tomorrow they are playing the Sacramento Kings. I've been saying Queens all day, but that's just because of the fact that they have, really decided to take the rest of the season off. But Legend, I bring it back
Gregory,
to you.
I'm sorry. Let me make this clear. Gregory, I know it feels like when LeBron came back, things went south, but it's not LeBron, guys. I mean, he's a big part of it. Don't get me wrong, but these are still grown-ass men and adults. I'm not going to sit here and continue to put blame on a guy when you're a grown adult. Is LeBron really got you that shook up that you gotta not put your full effort and be available because LeBron is there? I'm not buying that, guys. If you're gonna let someone like LeBron, who is, let's be honest, not in any way or ever has been intimidating. He's not a demonstrative type of guy. He's passive aggressive. He's essentially a 6'8", 260-pound female mentality guy. Females think the way he does, not men that I grew up with, men that I watched play sports. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to call LeBron a woman, but he thinks like he executes his his personality like a female to me. So it should be even more. It should be even more important that you bypass that. And how about you don't do this in public? Obviously, I always prefer you do it indoors. But someone needed to. If you got balls and you've got some talent on this team, then you need to let LeBron know, right? I mean, Gerald, didn't Mario Chalmers during a game call out LeBron?
He did.
Yes, he did.
What happened? Why? How come Mario Chalmers can do it? And Mario Chalmers did it when LeBron was God in the NBA at that point. He was at his full Thanos powers.
Mario had the ultimate confidence in the one person he believed in the most, Mario Chalmers.
Well, maybe it's because Mario Chalmers had a little bit of Robert Horry in him. You notice anytime he was in any big games, whether he was in Kansas, whether he was in Miami, wasn't he in Memphis?
Chalmers in Memphis?
Like Grizzlies? Yeah. So anyways, the point is, I cannot be a grown-ass man and not call out grown-ass men not being men. And
yeah, he played for a couple seasons with me.
It's going to sound sexist because I demand more from dudes. And when dudes don't act like men, to me, they might as well be female. Females are passive-aggressive. Men should never be that. Men should be in your face, up front, especially when you're a leader, especially when you're supposed to be one of the best in your profession. Not everybody can be an alpha. Not everybody can be a chief, right? But if you say you are and you're not, it looks worse. And then everybody around you sitting around like scared puppies, that doesn't help either. So I'm just saying, like, there's too much of that going on. That's why this team can't ever be focused. They're weak. They're just weak mentally. They're not about really winning like you think they are. They're just not. Now, Austin Reaves was pissed off in the last game. I saw the interview. He was pissed. And he looked like he was pissed in a way where I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, Austin, you need to call out your boy LeBron then when you guys are practicing. You know, they close those sessions in El Segundo, so you don't have to worry about the media knowing anything. Or you could go ask your PR guy, say, listen, when we do our next practice, I don't want anybody in here. Or you can just talk to JJ and tell him to say that so that doesn't look all weird. Hey, I don't want anybody in here except the team. I don't even want you guys in here. See, that's why when you look back at Phil Jackson and Pat Riley and all these guys, why they didn't want anyone on the bus, why they didn't want anyone in practice, why they didn't want anybody in the gym, why they didn't want anybody in the locker room, because they know leaks go out. They know it's going to fuck everything up. They know the mental game. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not just throwing this up on the wall and hoping it works. You have to be able to, as a grown-ass adult, you have to be, no matter how great you are not perfect. You got to be called out if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, whether it's from your coach, whether it's from your teammates, whether it's your pops. So I'm just saying it's those things that you grew up watching. And then now everything's on, oh, we can't do this because this guy might, oh, we can't dog on DeAndre Ayton because we may need him. Look, guys, it's starting to get to the end here with DeAndre Ayton. If DeAndre Ayton wasn't going to have a good game tonight, how the fuck is he going to have a good game later? And who knows? Maybe it works. Not likely, but blowing up at DeAndre Ayton, stop being a soft ass bitch. Clinton Capella. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm kind of at my wits' end here. How's this going to end? In a good way? I don't know.
I don't think it will. I think the odds are stacked against the Lakers. They are, again, I've said, if for them to go ahead and reach the mountaintop this season, everything would have to go right. Injuries to top teams, and somehow this big three gelling, and the talent around them playing consistently like they did tonight, Legend, which, as we've seen all season, has not happened. To have them string this for any length of time. So to finish off the conversation in regards to the Lakers, why do you not see them as well as Joe and I as a team that can reach a title run this season?
Definitely one thing that Joe said that is just the honest truth. The defense is just god awful. You don't see a champion with defense that bad. Like, you need to be like kind of middling or up in the top range, somewhere in the middle. But to be like way above 20, that's pretty bad. And that's just one of the truth. The defense is bad. The roster is just not put together properly. I think this roster, and then the last part I would definitely say too is the big three. I know we ain't seen a lot of samples, but it just don't look pretty together. I really think you need to let LeBron move off, and then build around from there. But to me, it's the defense, roster construction. The big three just isn't great. I think once you redo the entire roster, put together the correct pieces, I think things start to look a lot more positive, a lot more up. But to me, the biggest thing is that defense. Though your defense just cannot be that bad to the point where I don't know if you can even guard a man in a wheelchair playing basketball. It's just that bad, and it shouldn't be that bad. That's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable and just disgusting even sometimes to watch. It's that bad. You just gotta sometimes face reality, accept the reality at some point.
Legend, before we end out, what you got cooking at your I Got Next Sports Media?
Definitely gonna talk about how the Warriors just got their butts kicked, and then just talk about how they probably gonna flush this season, like a lot of other teams are probably already doing too at this point, and just worry about next year, and then probably talk a little bit about maybe the NFL draft that's coming up. You know, all of us seeing what our NFL team's gonna do in the draft, and then we'll talk about WNBA a little bit.
They are at the combines right now for the NFL draft, and people are impressing and not impressing. So, yeah, definitely want to hear what Legend has to say with I Got Next Sports Media. But, Joe, easy victory for the Lakers tonight. A rare easy victory for the Lakers, 129-101. Tomorrow they do have the Sacramento Kings on tap, so we'll see if they can put two wins together, one away and one at home. But you also have an experiment on the way. And any last thoughts before we head on?
Yeah, there'll be an experiment here in a few days before I head out for Arizona for spring training next weekend.
Okay.
I think the surprising part about what's going on right now is Laker fans really not respecting Luka Doncic's game. I'm telling you guys right now, if Luka Doncic, when they build a team around Luka the way it's supposed to, you're going to see a multiple MVP player, and this team will win championships.
Well, that's better than what 805 has right now, because 805
I want you guys to imagine something, right? I want you to imagine this. Imagine if Michael Jordan, playing on a team that was playing half court, had to feed the ball to a center for 48 minutes. How would his game translate? He'd still be great, but you guys are watching a player do whatever he wants on the court, but he doesn't. This team is just not made for him. And even if he's just this guy, what was the alternative? They traded him for nothing. The trade might be worse than what the Red Sox got when they traded away Mookie Betts. Probably not, but maybe. So I don't know where this Luka's that. I think it's Twitter fodder. That's what it is. It's people get so fixated, maybe not literally Twitter, but I guys, you got to turn off social media. Social media is the same cancer that Left Behind posted earlier today. Notice I haven't noticed him. I might have missed it, but
I think he's, since your comments, I think he
and this is that was by far the dumbest post, and I'll tell you really why it was the dumbest post too. My mother died of cancer. Now I'm not one of those guys that, oh my God, I got insulted and like I don't give a fuck. But to compare calling out a player because he has a stomach bug, when I used to watch Kobe have a stomach bug, have knee fluids that look like there's a basketball in his knee, have 7 high ankle sprains in a 2-week span, a mangled shooting hand, and him not missing games, criticizing players for not being available, making $17 million a year every other day, to have that compared to someone with cancer? That's what I'm talking about. This is why shit is so stupid. Like, people just can say whatever they want, and then everyone is expecting someone else to solve it. No. You need to solve it. When you hear people talk like that, you need to call them out, and you need to call them out in front of everyone. Now, I can't be at your house, but this is a lesson for everybody in your life. It was stupid. It was a stupid fucking comment. Absolutely, like idiotic comment. When we're trying to talk about basketball and people not being available, you want an answer, right? Don't you? You want to know why this team isn't clicking, because they're not playing. Every other game, they're missing a game. It's always something. And these guys are going to be free agents this year. Imagine that. DeAndre Ayton is going to opt out, thank God, because he's probably going to get paid for being an ass.
You think he's going to opt out? I'm still not so
there's
sure.
no doubt he's opting out. Somebody's going to give him a 2-year deal for $20 million, maybe $25 million.
Okay,
that
I could get. Okay, because if you were going to go, let's say 15, 30 million, 20 million, 25. Okay, I think that's from what we see. No, but a $10 million deal for 2 years or something like that. That I could see he could do it.
So it's just not. They're not. You're not seeing anyone get reprimanded for not doing what they're supposed to do. Rui's going to get $20 million for 3 years at least, probably too, right? He'll get a pay raise somewhere if he's not in LA.
I don't think
so. These guys have no incentive in giving a shit. They have no incentive of getting anything. Guaranteed contracts. Everybody's yapping about salary caps. Nothing has destroyed sports in terms of the quality worse than guaranteed contracts. Because why is the NFL the best, right? Everybody yapping about the NFL. Well, guess what? They don't have guaranteed contracts in the NFL, right?
But Joe, if he does opt in, it makes it $8 more million to put him in a trade.
I wouldn't trade for Ayton for anything.
Okay.
Lakers always seem to have that player that no one would ever trade for. Have you noticed that? Not even as a filler. Look at Gabe Vincent. Sucked ass from day one. Signed a 3-year deal. They didn't even want to touch his $10 million deal.
Okay.
Props to Rob, by the way, for trading him for Kennard. Kennard, like I said before, the first game he played, he had already done more in that game than that clown had done in 2.5 years in LA.
Carino, they have to negotiate. They have a contract with the players union. I don't know if it's every 5 or 7 years, but they do have a contract with the players union that comes up, and they a year to year and a half in advance start negotiating with the league on that to get to the collective bargain agreement. And I know Joe's first answer on if he were to negotiate for a collective bargaining agreement would be
get rid of this parent. All this equal out.
Joe.
Getting rid of what?
If you were to negotiate the next CBA.
Unfortunately, once the cat is out of the bag, you can't go back and say, no, we want to offer non-guaranteed contracts or get rid of the apron. My first thing would be to eliminate all of the rocket science needing bullshit trade scenarios to get things going. I want an open forum. It is tiring watching any kind of hope for anything in this league of fun stuff like, hey, where's Durant going to go? Hey, can Giannis be traded? Like you got to be a rocket scientist now to create a trade to get anybody. But see, it's not. It's tied to the money, man. It's tied to the money. They don't want to lose a day. They don't want to lose a day not making that money because most of these guys go broke 5 years out of the league. I don't like it. I don't like how hard they made it to better your team, to just do a normal trade, do a normal transaction. Everything has to have some stipulation to it. It's like California regulation. And I don't like it. It's not freedom. It's constantly having somebody on your neck, all because of money. I don't know. That could be a subject for a show we could do down the road. I think there's too much detail on that one.
Well, that's it. 129-101. The Lakers do win. They beat the Golden State Warriors. Legend. I know that you've got some great stuff going on with I Got Next Sports Media. You talked about the Warriors coming up and what's going on, like you said, with the combines. Are you going to be heading back with us this week for the game tomorrow night against the Sacramento Kings?
I probably will be there to watch the Queens. Probably will.
All right. So we'll see what happens there. But it is the Sacramento Kings coming in. Legend, we also got to get together for another NBA observations. It was very much appreciated. A lot of people liked your last conversation with me. So definitely looking forward to that. Also, go ahead and hit up Lakers Latest. I pop for you every morning or just about therein, right there on the Lakers Latest channel. And of course, Joe's channel, the Joe Soro Experiment, as well. Arcarino says, I'm still confused when people said that Austin had agreed to go to the Bucks if the Lakers wanted Giannis. That is called a rumor, Arcarino. Again, I think I've learned, Joe, that a lot of the stuff as far as is smoke screens. Unless Shams puts that out there, and Shams usually has verified sources, I usually try to steer away from anyone else's thoughts on the league or comments on the league because It just seems like a lot of the stuff is just smokescreen. Bleacher Report, Sports Illustrated, a lot of these other formerly trustworthy entities, Joe, just don't seem to have what they do now. They just seem like they're full of just rumor mongering and just a lot of stuff that you could just fluff. Just read through a whole bunch of fluff when you look at it.
Yeah, I mean that's always the case because most of these guys are hacks. They don't have the talent or the communication skills to create relationships, and then they'll designate a certain schmo like Shams. I think the fact that his name is Sham is hilarious, and they tailor that into some kind of control. It's all about control, right? That's I understand about control, but I'm more about control of your own area. Outside, when you're not good at communicating, when you're not good at telling it how it is, to me that's a sign that you're hiding something. You're hiding who you really are. You create a facade. You create this fake thing, and that's why you see all these guys getting caught up in shit, right? Oh, they're hanging out with this guy, they're hanging out with that guy, right? Well, what the fuck are you doing hanging around with these guys? Why? Because they're famous? And that's always the comedy in all this. Like, yeah, we're supposed to. I'm watching these guys perform. I'm watching LeBron. I'm admiring LeBron and these guys performing on a basketball court. I don't give two fucking shits what they do off the court. I don't give a shit about knowing them, hanging out with them. I don't give a fuck about that. But these people in that world give a shit. And people who are obsessed with celebrity give a shit because they don't have any lives. They have to find out what these guys are doing. I just watched a lady that was on soap operas for years. She was on CSI Miami, one of those shows. This lady had a stalker for 15 years. How the hell does that happen? Seriously, how does that happen in this day and age? She made me laugh too. She's like, we solved problems in 43 minutes on the show, DNA this and fingerprint that, and they couldn't catch this piece of shit. And he had his fingerprints all over the letters and threats and all that. At some point, you get fed up with bullshit, and then you become the boomer, and you become the guy that apparently there's something wrong with me being upset about players not being available, and then now we have to equate it to something else. There has to be some hidden agenda, like, oh well, Joe, you don't understand, and you're thinking too much of whatever, or you're insecure, or you're this. You're like, what? Can we just focus on the fact that this asshole's making $17 million a year and he's never available? Why does it have to be some kind of cosmic reason that we have to imagine? Everybody, by the way, is always like, have you noticed that everybody's involved with something behind the scenes? Okay, really? What is it? Oh, they were walking in LA at 11 o'clock at night. They must be a part of something, right? Most of the people that you think are doing that shit aren't doing that, man. It's all fucking a facade. It's a fucking joke. So take it easy. Let's focus on the stuff that you do know. Here's what we do know about the LA Lakers of the 2025-2026 season. They're mentally and physically weak. And JJ Redick is doing his best to try to steer this ship to the point where, will they finally come through? Will they exceed themselves a little in the end? Well, I'll tell you this. I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they surprise me. I hope they surprise me. I'll end the show on a so that everybody feels good. I hope that the Lakers finish the year off well and go into the playoffs with reckless abandon.
I hope they do too. I hope we are all proven wrong. I'm hoping Robert Wheeler, with his optimism, but last year he had that same kind of optimism and was let down. Let's hope his optimism can will this Lakers to a place where Legend, myself, and you don't think they will go. And I'm hoping we're wrong. We hope they're wrong. The ultimate thing is that the Lakers win the title. That's all I care about. And I don't care if we're wrong with them showing us up by it. And you guys could laugh at us through the show after show after show. But we have to go by now what our common sense tells us. And we can't make something out of nothing. So again, for Robert, who loves to go ahead, puts the rosy side of things, and more power to him for doing that. But when he talks about, but the Lakers can do it. Now, again, as we saw last year, Robert, when you were continue making those comments, the reality tells you otherwise. You cannot put your heart into your evaluations. You cannot put what I put here with my love for the Lakers into the evaluations. You got to call it like it is. You can't call it like you want to see it. You have to call it like it is. And right now, it doesn't look great for the Lakers, even coming off this victory. But I hope we are wrong. I hope we are wrong. And Legend hopes that he is wrong on his assessment of the Warriors and that they go a long way in the playoffs as well. So again, we want to tell you, we would love to come on the show and tell you the Warriors and the Lakers look like title contenders. They look like they're going to go ahead and go all the way this year. But that would be lying to you. And that's not something I don't think that each of us is prepared to do. And we'll just leave it at that.
You know, it's interesting to call the Lakers mid.
Left came back, by the way. And he says he hopes to see you, by the way.
It's interesting to call the Lakers mid because I find it fascinating that they're only 2 games behind in the loss column from the 3rd seed. Mm-hmm. It's really everyone is really mid other than maybe 4 teams. You got Detroit, you got Boston, and then you got Oklahoma City and the San Antonio Spurs. That's it. They're the only ones above the mid. Everyone else is mid or lower, right? That's what the league is right now. It's pretty much a bunch of mids. Because that's what they wanted, right? That's what the owners wanted. You know, the Adam Silver deteriorated his league so that we can watch Indiana face Oklahoma City in the finals.
See, you can do that, El Rosta. You can call it like you need it because you're a fan. You don't run a show with 800 closing in on 800,000 views on this channel and 300,000 audio listeners, plus another channel I do with Lakers Latest with the Fan Art Network. I have to be real. I have to be honest. You can call it like you need it, but I have to call it like it is and like we see it. And that's just as simple as that. Legend runs his own channel.
I'll be at spring training next week.
Left wants to see you. Left wants to see you.
Maybe will be there. I don't know which game I'll be there for, but I'm going to be there. So, and I if you need to spot me, just look for the guy that's wearing all black.
Yeah, he's 6 feet. You cannot miss him. 6'3". You cannot miss him.
And I usually wear all black, so I'll stand out. If it's cold, maybe next weekend. I don't think it is though.
I'll usually wear a hoodie, 80s or 90s.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shorts and long t-shirt day. Okay, fair enough. But I still wear black even in 90-degree weather.
Because Joe, it's 85 here in Vegas today, so I don't think it's going to be very cold in.
I do agree, Nick, that Indiana, in my assessment of Rick Carlisle's coaching, that was one of the best coaching jobs I've seen in a long time. And it's sad that Indiana, I have full confidence that had Halliburton not been hurt, they would have won a championship. It's not that's the part I hate when it happens, man. That's the part that I really it's like, man, Indiana, I remember our good friend SV Sports Baby. I'm like, man, this is the only time likely Indiana's going to get to have a chance to win it all because you know what's coming next, right? If Oklahoma City wins, now they're going to be confident to continue to win, and they have the talent to keep going. Then you have San Antonio coming, and then eventually the Lakers are going to be there, and Boston's going to get healthy. I didn't know what Detroit was going to do at that time. Now you got to deal with them. So it's like, man, that was the spot. That was like that could have been their 2019 Toronto Raptor moment. Like Toronto took advantage of that opening, and Indiana had it by like. I feel bad because I think that would have been a better story if Indiana had won. And again, Indiana's. I mean, basketball technically didn't start in Indiana, but that's the mecca. That's really the mecca of basketball is Indiana.
Well, we'll find out what's going to go on tomorrow with the Lakers playing at home against Sacramento on the back-to-back. Hopefully after an easy victory like this and a celebration with Luka's birthday, that it will be a great finish off for the weekend with a victory over the Kings / Queens, as well as El Rosto Vando for Defensive Player of the Year. You're so funny, Rosto.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see him play towards the end there?
Joe, again, he doesn't need to call it like he sees it. He needs to just call it like he needs it. He's admitted that. He's on that hill. He has climbed on Vando Hill. So I don't think you want to see what Crandus McBasketball had to say about the value of Vando right now. So I'll leave it. I'll let it go at that. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Lakers do win 129-101. We'll be back tomorrow night. The Lakers are hosting the Sacramento Kings. Can we get 2 easy victories in a row after one of the roughest weeks of the season? We will find out. And hopefully it will finish off a Luka birthday and great Lakers weekend for everyone with the Lakers victory. But we'll find out. We'll be here after the game talking Lakers basketball right here on the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.